Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, and this is my review for DEMENTIUM the Ward. So dear viewers, this particular video game released for the Nintendo DS all the way back in 2007. A year I remember fondly as the year I played a bloody lot of video games. But we are not here to talk about that particular version of this game. No, we are here to talk about the remaster that released in 2024 for modern consoles. And just like that beautiful bearded bastard Barry Bertrum, you're probably wondering,
what is this?
DEMENTIUM the Ward is a first-person survival horror video game, in which we play as an unfortunate chap who wakes up in an abandoned hospital with absolutely no memory of who he is or how the hell he got here. So to find those answers, we'll have to navigate through this nightmarish hospital, taking on nightmarish creatures, solving nightmarish puzzles, and having a pretty damn nightmarish time. So let's review this video game the only way I know how, badly. And let's start with what I actually liked about DEMENTIUM. I'm glad that this horror video game gives us the opportunity to actually fight back against enemies using a myriad of firearms, including a pistol, a revolver, a shotgun, a sniper rifle. I am sick and bloody tired of playing horror games where not only can you not fight back against your assailants, but you have to actually sneak around the bastards or hide under beds or in closets. So the fact that this game actually lets us fight these evil bastards gets a thumbs up from me. Going along with that, this game also features several boss fights which, well, they outstay their welcome. More of that in a moment. I do like having boss fights in my survival horror video games, be they in first person or in third person. So, another thumbs up from me. The abandoned hospital itself is also pretty ooky spooky, and I'm glad that the developers had the good sense to allow us to play the game in high-res visuals, as opposed to those garbage pixelated graphics that a lot of these games use nowadays. But yes, if you want to play it in the pixelated garbage graphics, you can do that as well. The game also runs at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second, and while I don't understand a single syllable of what I just said, Bertrum tells me that that's a pretty good frame rate. And no, I don't know what frame rate means, but I guess I also have to give that a thumbs up. And the last nice thing I'll say about the game is some of the creature designs, particularly the boss fights, it's not half bad. Not half bad at all. Speaking of bad, let's talk about what I didn't enjoy about this game so much. I'm sad to report that I found the majority of my time with this game a complete and utter chore. Mindlessly roaming the corridors, looking for files to help me solve puzzles. We don't run into any characters whatsoever. Even our own character doesn't have the good sense to talk to himself while he's roaming these corridors. So I just found the whole thing to be, well, boring. To me, the game was just a mindless routine of walking down corridors, shooting enemies, trying doors in the hope that one of the doors would be open, progressing through said door, encountering more enemies, walking down more corridors. Sometimes the game would just jump to the next chapter abruptly, with no rhyme or reason. So I guess I was going the right way after all. And while yes, it is good to shoot the enemies and be allowed to defend myself, but some of the enemy types, particularly the flying headless bastards called banshees, Well, I say they're headless. They are actually a head with wings attached to them. But anyway, those bastards owe me money for the amount of time I had to spend in the hospital having a doctor look at my rear ends. Because those things are a complete and utter pain in the arse. They're able to kill you in 1 or 2 bloody hits. Don't even get me started how infuriating it is when the game throws not 1, not 2, but 3 of these bastards at you at the exact same time. And to go along with that, the game has an absolutely terrible checkpoint system. Often you'll be forced to do 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes of progress, should you unfortunately die. Which I can guarantee you will do in this game, especially because of those unfair enemies I just told you about 2 seconds ago. You know, the ones that were a complete and utter pain in the arse. I also didn't particularly find the boss fights to be all that enjoyable to take on. Because just like those flying bastards, the bosses can also kill you in about 1 hit, maybe 2 depending on what difficulty you're playing on. One of these particular boss fights is a giant abomination with nipples bigger than King Kong's eyes. And you don't just fight this bastard once in the game, but you actually have to fight him twice. And the second time you face him, you are literally coming out of an elevator. And this bastard is charging you from the end of the corridor. The only saving grace of that fight, though, is that I figured out that if I stand at the back of the elevator, the bastard can't touch me. Ha ha! Take that, you big nippled bastard! While I found the visuals to be very ooky spooky, I got incredibly bored incredibly quickly, just walking up and down the exact same looking corridors, shooting the exact same looking enemies. Like I already hinted, this wouldn't be so bad if there was characters that we ran into, you know, maybe survivors that we had to save, nurses, doctors. Or if there was even a bloody story to tell in this game, but aside from a cutscene when you first wake up at the beginning, a confusing ending cutscene, and 1 or 2 all very brief flashbacks, there is no bloody story in this game. It's just simply walk around this abandoned hospital, shoot enemies, solve puzzles. It's the same bollocks I've played about 127 times before. And I probably played 126 of those games that are better than this one. So while I do admire porting a Nintendo DS title to modern consoles, adding that high-res filter like I said, 60 frames per second, it still doesn't take away that I personally found this game to be a complete and utter chore. Therefore, I declare the Dementium the award. Well, I just said it. It's a chore. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my review for Dementium the Ward. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then feel free to give me a thumbs down. But please remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Are you still here? Oh. You must have really enjoyed this video then. In that case, you had better subscribe to the channel and check out our other content. Otherwise, you're a booby pants, and no one wants to be a booby pants.